that does support women and girls. A trafficking-proof child welfare system, and like I said, if we could as a country say that a child is a child, you know, until they're 18, and have all of the policies and laws align with that, then we would have some consistency on how provinces work with at-risk children between 15 and 18 years of age. Because right now, Ontario, you are one province that you tap out at 16. Manitoba's right in the middle. We got Saskatchewan on the other side that also taps out at 16, and so it's really frustrating to see that there's almost little or no safety net for those kids, and predators are all around them, just waiting for their opportunity. The other thing is support women and girls. An instant response must happen. There has to be something right then and there at the beginning when she has a window of opportunity, and sometimes that window of opportunity to ask for help and get out of the situation that she's in is like this. So you need people, you need 24/7 service, you need fast acting, everybody. Whether it's an outreach worker or police, you need to have the shelters and the safety system set up for her, and the support system. So an instant response has to be there, because that's oftentimes the only window you have. A stable platform for a life without exploitation. So having all of those services available. Many women talk to us about that society, when they come, they're starting to rebuild their lives. They're still seen as women in prostitution. They're called homewreckers, sluts, hooers, and then they're trying to rebuild their life. And we're the ones oftentimes, and even women-serving organizations, that judge them for that. And we blame them pretty much for their victimization. Well, if you weren't a homewrecker, if you weren't a prostitute, like they're almost less than any other women. And so we have to change that. We have to start seeing them, if we shifted our minds and valued them as survivors of violence, then it's a whole different philosophy of service. And so currently we have to change the way we view women who are rebuilding their lives from violence, and we're supporting that all along the way. There is one young woman who she was recruited when she was 13. She's now 20, and she has a window of opportunity. In fact, the guy died, and so that was her window of opportunity. So she went to welfare, like social or employment and income assistance, or whatever you call it in here. Works, I think. Anyways, the Ontario Works. So she went to go and said, like, look, I need money for food and a place to stay. Like, I need help. I'm starting all over and I don't know what to do. And that welfare worker said, well, what have you been doing for 10 years? And she couldn't explain the fact that she's been under control. And when she did explain it, the welfare worker didn't believe her. And so she was denied service totally because they thought she was lying, that she was being trafficked since she was 13. And so we need those frontline services and those support services to actually work for women and not be the thing that prevents them from healing, because women need money. They have to survive, and they need a safe place to go. They also have to relearn their relationship to money in our society. And so those things are really important to create that stable platform so that they can heal, they can focus on their healing. Then there needs to be opportunities to heal. And what people also think is that healing happens like you take a program and then you're healed. Like we're looking at opportunities to heal forever, like forever. And so when in our task force report, we say, if you're funding organizations, anybody that are helping women rebuild their lives from violence, and particularly sex trafficking, don't fund them for 1 year. You know, take some leadership in at least 5 years, but let's start talking 10 years for some organizations to have stable funding so that they can provide services, so they can be there along that continuum for women for opportunities to heal. And then we have to stop it from happening in the first place, and that is building awareness of, and it boils down to confident girls and respectful boys, like shifting that whole, creating a whole new generation of young people that girls have strong protective factors. They know if a guy is either online or in a shopping mall that is trying to reel her in by saying all the right things that she wants to hear, that is not true. And in fact, get out of that situation as soon as you can. Like, leave, ask for help, call somebody, but try to get out of that situation. And so, and then respectful boys. There was one of the most shocking things that just made my head shake, is that we still live in a culture where fathers are taking their boys as a part of our rites of passage to sexually exploit a woman. Like, they're still like 17, 18 years old, they're taking their sons out, for their first time, and feel that that's like their role and their responsibility to do. And that kind of culture of how men and boys, and again at young ages, and we're influenced by the media too. We're influenced, in fact, the number one addiction for boys 9 to 12 years old in Canada is to pornography. And it's not even like soft pornography. They're already at 12, hardcore, violent pornography. And so we have boys that think that this is a normal relationship, is violence, is objectifying women, is that women only serve a purpose and that's it. And so we have to start as a society really shifting and going backwards again into what our important values are. And then collective action. And this is really important because it has to be a Canada-wide action. Oftentimes we are at least a few times a year. We just had one girl from Ontario who was, we intercepted her in Winnipeg, and she came from Toronto, but she was from a northern First Nation just north of Thunder Bay. Ended up in Toronto, and then we got her, and we were able to intervene in Winnipeg. So we need more provinces and more helpers that are doing frontline service working together. And in fact, we were just talking last night when I was talking to Colin, we at least have a girl a month being trafficked to Thunder Bay for 3 weeks. And we've tried OPP, we've tried Thunder Bay Police, or even our own police are frustrated with the trafficking that happens between Manitoba and Ontario. And so we also have trafficking internationally between Manitoba and North Dakota. And if it's happening in Manitoba, it's happening everywhere. And they use those First Nation border communities as ways to traffic girls back and forth. And so there is, it's going to take all of us sharing information and an infrastructure and a communication structure that we have to start thinking like that in order, because trafficking doesn't know any borders. The other thing is that Canada-wide action also means that it's not just a police problem, it's not just a government problem or a CFS problem or a community problem and solutions. It's everybody's. It's everybody. So we can't point, we have to stop pointing the fingers. And in fact, an elder told me one time, actually, when you point when you're pointing your finger, actually your thumb is pointing right back at you, right? So we have to start looking at ways in which we individually become part of the problem and not part of the solution, not the problem.